The conflict in Afghanistan greatly affected our operations here. If I talk about the Kunduz project itself, we were affected by number one, shortage of staff. Our staff are really in hard position. They want to come to work, but some situations would not allow them to. Just traveling from their home, going to the hospital is too risky, especially if there are fightings going on.
The idea of coming up with a new hospital has been conceived or planned actually after the Kunduz bombing in 2015. But then the security situation in Kunduz did not allow them. They started the construction of the hospital in 2018. There are a lot of factors that prevented them, the MSF, from opening the hospital. Foremost of this is the security situation.
Despite what happened in 2015, I was actually excited to come back here because I have worked with a lot of really amazing people. But on the other hand, of course, like any other expats who are working here in the project, I also have my fears. If the context really becomes so unstable, are we going to come out of Kunduz safely? Both parties of this war, are they going to respect our neutrality? Are they not going to harm us? All of these thoughts are in my head. After the capture of Kunduz, we were mostly receiving patients who were wounded during the fighting, civilians who were wounded by stray bullets in a crossfire. There was a patient who was brought, a young man who was brought to the hospital with a gunshot wound on the arm. I was talking with an old man, and it turned out it was the father of that patient. And then he just cried out in front of me. He was telling me that they were sleeping in their house when an airstrike happened. He had only two sons, and one of his sons died immediately on site in that airstrike, and the other one fortunately got wounded, but the old man put a tourniquet on it to stop the bleeding, but it took them more than 4 hours to access the hospital. He was crying about his children, about losing his house and almost all that they have. Another one that I should also mention are two kids. So they were brought to us 2 nights ago. These girls went to play and found a device. So they played with it and it exploded. One of the girls had amputation yesterday. The other one also got severe injuries on her legs. So it's really heartbreaking. These are small kids who are supposed to live like any other kids in the world. I have nieces and nephews who are of the same age as them. Just imagining them being brought to the hospital with these injuries, I think it's not fair.